I expect to see somebody at their best in the interview, and I don't expect it to get better than what I see right there.
Be confident, make eye contact. When you go to an interview, have a strong, firm handshake, dress appropriately, and just be yourself, just relax.
This is your life you're looking at. It's a stepping stone that can really help you out to get to where you want to be.
This is a step in your professional career that paves the way for your future, and I think that you should be happy and you should be excited and engaged in the interview.
If you're in an interview, I want to see you at a 10. This needs to be when you bring your A game, where you feel confident in your answers, you feel confident in who you are and telling that story.
Flip-flops, t-shirts, shorts are never appropriate in an interview. And I believe that for a young man interviewing for a job, a shirt and a tie is always appropriate no matter what job they're interviewing for. That's what I always told my boys, and they always got the job.
I have several pet peeves for a job candidate, but the main one I would say is the way they dress. Short skirts, blue jeans, sleeveless clothes, low-cut blouses, tank tops, spaghetti straps are definitely out. Slacks are nice. Wear a nice suit. Young men need to wear a shirt and a tie, nice slacks, covered tattoos, excessive piercings, and not only just for the interview, but dress when you walk in to get an application, dress nice. Don't go in shorts, don't go in flip-flops, have your hair combed, have a nice smile, because first impressions go a long way, even when you're just picking up an application.
I would suggest that if you're looking to go work for somebody, you would think about how they would want you to be dressed, or how the person that's going to be interviewing you is going to be dressed, because that's probably where your goal ought to be.
My biggest pet peeve of a job candidate is being inappropriately dressed. When you walk in, one of those, I know, being in the restaurant business, our uniform, we have different uniforms, but we actually have uniforms, and some of the times uniforms do incorporate t-shirts or whatever, but that doesn't mean the t-shirt and a ball cap is an appropriate in shorts, flip-flops is an appropriate thing to wear to a job interview, and I've had it all.
So my biggest pet peeve is a candidate coming in that has not done any research about the position. I want a candidate to ask questions. I want them to research the position, be interested in the position, and be curious and be prepared with those questions.
Most people, when they come into an interview, you actually have questions yourself. And if I have to say one thing that I wish more happened, is that when I do interview people, I wish they asked me more questions, because it actually helps me learn more about the person. It shows me they're actually interested in the job, they've actually looked into it a little bit. And most people always have questions, but they seem to be a little timid or shy to ask those questions. But there are times, and I'll ask at the end, are there any questions you have? And 99% of the time I always get, no, I don't have anything. Yet I know they do, because everybody has questions.
People get nervous during job interviews, so you get a lot of unusual responses. I have had somebody ask me whether or not it would be very long before their first raise, which is not something I would suggest that you throw into the interview mix.
I asked a college graduate what his most unique skill was that he brought to this job, and he told me that he could amble and masticate at the same time. And I said, I don't really know what that means. He said, it means I can walk and chew gum at the same time, which was a very unique skill. So he did get the job. When I asked someone why they were leaving their current job, they told me because my manager caught me on video pointing a gun at one of my coworkers. That's the real answer.
Have I ever had someone refuse to take off their sunglasses in an interview? I can actually say I've never had anybody wear sunglasses in an interview.
I've seen some pretty good looking sunglasses in my day, but they typically take them off.
No, I have not interviewed anyone that refused to take their sunglasses off.
Refuse to take off their sunglasses. No, man, I ain't never had that. I have been in interviews where someone was pretty much trashing their current or past employer. I would just tell you that's not a good idea. If you're going to speak really poorly about someone you used to work for, that means that you might speak bad about me someday. And that also shows a little bit of a lack of professionalism. Even though you might have some hard feelings, I'd probably recommend you keep those to yourself.
The number one reason for people leaving their previous employment is because of, as they put it, not getting along with management is about the number one reason. So I understand there are different types, but you know, it just depends on, I guess, how much they go into it about, and then I can kind of start feeling out, okay, maybe you're the problem. Particularly if you look at their job history and it's on there 2 or 3 times, it's one of those, okay, maybe your previous bosses, managers were not the problem, you're the common denominator, maybe you need to rethink this.
I've had them badmouth their boss, their job. I don't care for that. I think it makes the person I'm interviewing look less of a person. I want them to be positive. For whatever reason they left their old job, they don't have to tell me every detail. But yes, I have had them badmouth their old boss, and that's just something you just don't want to do.
Bad-mouthing their own boss. This happens quite a bit, actually. And it's another one of those where I tend to just be quiet and let them go as far as they're gonna go. Because you can learn a lot about someone's character by how they talk about the person that they were working for before. I think about that as at some point this person is gonna leave and move on to something else in life, and I'm gonna be that boss. I'm learning way more about that candidate than I am about that boss when they're talking, and I don't think they understand that a lot.
Bad-mouthing your old boss is an immediate kind of mark to the negative side. I don't want to know all the negative things about maybe the position that you're coming from, but I want to know about the opportunities.
I've had cell phones go off and I've seen them look at them, and I think they see my reaction, and they tend to stop what they're doing and put it away, but they've never actually had anybody actually answer their cell phone.
Most people are pretty good about taking their phone and silencing it real quick, but the ones that really crack me up are the ones that take a second. Wait a minute. And then you can see them trying to contemplate, is this really worth me telling him to hold on to tape? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Leaving the phone on and listening to the text messages ding or the different alerts ding on their phone, highly unprofessional, and it shows a lack of commitment to the job interview.
I need to have their undivided attention because they have my undivided attention. So I don't even want to see a cell phone at the table.
I've never had anybody answer it. I have had somebody actually have it go off. It's quite embarrassing for that person, and it's a distraction. So while that's a normal part of our society and culture, you need to turn it off.
Today's student, here's what I would say. When you come for an interview, act like you actually knew you were going to be interviewed that day. Come in prepared to talk about yourself, not just how great you are, but be prepared to talk about things that you can work on and how you plan to continue to work on those and how you're already working on those things. Because if you tell me that you have no weaknesses and that you're perfect, inside my head I'm going to call you a liar. Because there's no one perfect out there, and I'm not looking for perfect employees. I would encourage you that in an interview, that is going to be the time when you are at your very best. So if I have you at the interview table and this is your very best and it only goes downhill from there, I need to have room for you to go downhill, if that makes any sense at all.
We can't eat you.
Become engaged in the interview because it is a two-person process, and don't be shy about it.
Find something that you love doing and find a way to make a living at it. It should not be about getting rich, it should be about being happy.
I remember sitting at my first interview thinking I'm never going to make it through this, I'm not going to get the job. But you know, I did, and it's paved the way for where I am now. I would say don't stress and enjoy it.
there is a need for me to sell myself, or if you're interviewing with me, you to sell yourself to me. You need to convince me why I should hire you and not hire somebody else. And don't be afraid to be, self-promoting to a certain extent. You don't want to be braggadocious or anything like that, but sell yourself.
I wish I'd known I didn't have stuff in my teeth. That would have been pretty nice to know. Thanks a lot, Mom, for not telling me before I got there. Yeah, that would have been cool.